red hot Detroit Lions. They're throttling everybody. They go to the Ravens playing in Baltimore. Ravens are 2.5-point home favorites. Low point total here, 44.5 points. Ravens are playing some quiet, good football. They're having a lot of miscues here and there. They're not going to flash anybody with the wins that they've had. It's been good wins. They've been playing decently. But the Lions, man, they've just been throttling folks left and right. Their team is the most complete team in the league, arguably. Dan Campbell is one of the most exciting coaches in the league. Jared Goff is having a career year in this offense. They have more weapons on the offensive and defensive side of the ball than they've had in years. Do you think the Lions can pull out an underdog win in Baltimore?
Yeah, of course I do. They got Jameson Williams back too now. Laporta's playing great. Amon-Ra's playing great. David Montgomery did go down, and he's been their bell cow. But I think they can win in multiple different ways. And I think that they're going to be able to win passing the ball against the Ravens. Now, the Ravens aren't some like little boy, and they're at home also. So you never know. But if you're giving me an underdog Lions, I'm going to take the Lions here until they fail me.
Okay. I respect it. Let's look at some of the numbers. 42% of the bets are on the Lions. 50% of the handle on the Lions. Pretty even split. So there's really nothing to take away from this. Not much in the betting splits that can really tell us anything crazy. Now, of course, naturally, we move on to the model. The model has the Detroit Lions by 1. Now, it does have a long scoring game. It actually has the point total of 40, lower than the Vegas point total of 44.5, which I actually kind of believe. I think the key for the Ravens here at home is to kind of trust their defense to keep them in the game and then run. You know, I think that the Ravens will want to throw the football. Again, Lamar is having a really great year in the air. Believe it or not, nobody will notice, but he's having a good year as a passer. But I think the key is they're going to want to run the football, and they're going to want to throw some quick passes. The Lions' pass rush is really, really strong. So I think they're going to kind of limit their ability to get back there and mess with Lamar. We might see a little bit more design runs out of Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson. So I kind of think that this is going to be a slower pace game than everybody anticipates. But
hey, Dan Campbell gets his players up to play. He's a scary man. So
I will take the Ravens.
Okay.
2.5 at home.
Okay.
I think this is a battle that's won on the ground. I think it's going to be a slow-paced, hellacious game in Baltimore. In Baltimore. And I think the Baltimore crowd is going to get up in hype. I think this defense is going to get up in hype. And I think Roquan Smith is ready to just dominate. So I love the Ravens here, man. I think that, they're quietly putting up a great season, metrically speaking, on both sides of the football. If I could get these numbers to quit freaking out on me, go through them. Baltimore, 6th in the league in overall offensive EPA. Detroit, 12th. Now, if we scroll over to EPA allowed, 2nd overall for the Baltimore Ravens, 7th overall for Detroit Lions. Man, both teams are really efficient on both sides of that football. I just like the Ravens defense better in this matchup here. At home, I think Ravens take the 2.5-point win. I think they win by a field goal at the last second by Justin Tucker. And the Ravens go on to prove their dominance.
I will say this. It's important to take a look at the weather because because it's probably going to be cold up in Baltimore. And if it's raining, then my answer switches. Because if it is a ground-on-ground game without Montgomery, then I think the Ravens can pull it away. But if the weather's pretty outside, we have a ball game.
I just think I like the way. I think I like the idea of having the Ravens linebackers and their safeties up on Amon-Ra St. Brown, taking away some of his low routes from Jared Goff. I don't think they're going to give up any explosive plays to Jameson Williams like we saw last week. Without David Montgomery, it's going to be hard to establish a good ground game. They could get Jahmyr Gibbs back, but I don't know if he's ready to shoulder a full workload. And he's definitely not a guy who's going to go in there and bruise his way to 100 yards on 25 carries. So give me the Ravens. I think they're subtly going to be a team that shows out here. My only concern, and this is a pet peeve of mine. I need to get it off my chest. The Ravens, I despise that they do this. The moment that they get up in a game, they turn off the offense. They just shut it down. They're like, we're gonna cruise here. We're gonna run the clock out as much as we can. It could be in the second quarter and they could be up 10 and they're like, all right, let's run the clock out, calling it quits. They are the least aggressive team with a lead that I've ever seen in my life. And it always ends up being a close game. You know, like we saw that with the Titans. They were up by 15 at one point. They could have really put it together and stayed aggressive and really stretched that lead out, especially against the Titans defense that was horrible. But no, they let them get back in the game. I don't get it, but whatever. So
you feel better?
I do. I had to get that out of my system. I know the potential that the Ravens have, and it bothers me when coaching throws it away. But whatever. On to the next.